Hi everyone, welcome to day 8 of Soul Reset Yoga. Our time together is flying past. I'm back here in the McLean Health Sciences building, and my awesome co-stars have joined me again today, Kristen and George. So we can have some company while we do yoga, and so you can see yoga on some other bodies. We're going to jump right in and get started with a seated warm-up today. So come down to the floor, cross-legged position. I mentioned before, if this isn't comfortable, you can always put a little blanket or towel or something underneath your sit bones here. Otherwise, find those sit bones and get yourself evenly situated on them. Nice, tall, seated position. Let's take a few breaths here to bring ourselves centered mentally, physically, into the room, into the space. Close your eyes for just a moment. Some deep breaths, breathing in from your belly through your diaphragm and chest, nice and deep. Pause when you get to the top, and then slowly exhale all your breath back out. So just a few rounds of breath here to get you situated. As you're breathing, breathe in calm and breathe out all your stresses of the day. Whatever you have on your mind, just let it go. So breathing in and out. Let the world outside just fade away for a few minutes. Let's begin slowly stretching out. We'll start with just a forward fold in this position. So again, you're nice and tall on your sit bones, and we're just going to bow forward, leading with your chest, and wherever you end up is perfectly fine. Stretch out that lower back, stretch out those hips. I'm sure you can feel a lot of stopping points right there somewhere. But just breathe into them. And then pivot around to your exposed foot and the knee that's accompanying, and lean down over that. Feel the stretch, the tight points in your hips. See how that kind of moved it around to another location. Nice deep breaths. Don't push yourself. Just hang. I'm not trying to reach, you're just trying to hang. Pivot back around to center. See if maybe you'll hang a little bit lower this time. And then roll up, starting with your lower vertebrae up through your lumbar, thoracic, your cervical vertebrae come up last. Nice tall. Anchor your left forearm onto this knee or thigh. Place your right hand in the middle of your back, and then use those two as a fulcrum to twist around. Don't push your neck too hard. Just let it be a natural progression of your spine. And breathe. Shoulders down, neck long, chest wide open, sitting tall. And come around and swap hands and arms to go the other direction. Breathe into the twist. Maybe on an exhale, you twist a little bit further. But again, we're just warming up, so don't push too hard. Back around to front. Put down your left hand and reach over with your right arm. A little bit of a side twist. Stretch out your rib cage here. Stretch up on your hips, stretch out your shoulder. And other side. Reach and stretch over. And back to center. And we'll recross legs in the other direction. And we'll do it again. But re-identify your proper sitting position. Nice and tall. And then fold forward, leading with your chest. Just bow to the earth. And hang. Pivot around to your exposed foot and knee. Hang in that direction. Feel the stretch move around. Nice and easy. Come back to center. See if you can hang a little lower. And roll yourself up. Nice tall. And then as we did before, anchor one arm, place one hand, and twist. Stay tall, chest open, shoulders down, neck long. Keep breathing. And swap arms and hands, twist the other direction. And back to center. Plant your left hand, reach over with your right arm. And the other way. And back up. Right, if you remember before, we did something called bound angle, also cobbler, butterflies. That's palms of your feet together. And try to open your hips real wide, your thighs. Do what you need to do to be able to open them. As I said before, I'm not really good at this, although some people can. See how we're doing back there. Yeah. Men are notoriously tight in the hips and hamstrings. So some of these seated stretches, you may find George hates them. I chose them especially for him. All right, so now we're going to make it worse. We're going to go to wide-legged stretches, seated stretches. So if you remember right before, we did staff position, which was straight up and down. Well, now we're going to open our legs wide, okay? So get them ready for that. However wide you are, if your knees are bent, that's fine. You just kind of want your feet turned out. You want to make sure your legs are nice and lined up. What we're going to do here is a wide-legged seated forward fold. So just like in staff when we did a forward fold, we're going to do that here. So bow with your chest, reach forward. Wherever you end up is perfectly fine. Going to feel this stretch along your inner thighs, probably the back of your hips. And just try to keep breathing. And then come back up to sitting. And we'll do head to knee pose. Again, still wide-legged. So turn over toward your left foot, and then again, leading with your chest, we're heading straight chest to knees, or wherever it ends up. If you can reach out further to your feet, great. If you just want to end up resting anywhere you find landing, go for it. Keep breathing, that's the key. Just let these long stretches pull out that deep tissue in the muscles. Stretch them slowly, don't push. Bring yourself back up to center. And then of course we'll head in the other direction, so turn toward your right leg and then lead with your chest and bend down over toward it. Keep breathing, neck long, shoulders relaxed. And back up. And if you find these wide-legged poses miserable, you are not alone. They tend to be kind of challenging and not terribly comfortable, but that probably means they're doing a lot of good, right? Okay, so now we're going to do the rotated chest to knee like we did with the straight legs before. So we'll kind of stay facing forward, and we will lift arm overhead and come down toward the leg with our side. And I'm sure you can feel this is pulling a slightly different location through your hips, hamstrings. Keep breathing, keep sinking. Try to relax. And back to center. And other direction. Arm overhead and down. And back to center. And you can bring your legs together and pound them out a little bit. Get rid of that muscle tension. George didn't run away and leave. Thought I might see him gone. All right, we're going to come up to standing now. Going to continue on with our hip opening effort with the runner pose, which you're very familiar with by now. So turn sideways on your mat and toward the front or whatever floor or rug you're on, and we will just step back into it. Okay, so right leg back. And first let's make it a low lunge with knee on the floor. And just hold that for a minute and feel that open. And then we'll go into a more traditional runner, which means bring your knee up, and you got your toes curled up on your back foot. So you're just like ready to bolt forward as a starting gait as a runner. And then take that back knee back down, and let's go to a more vertical runner. So sit up, stand up on your knee, nice and tall. And then we'll morph on into a devotional runner, which is arms back, chest wide, It's a little balance challenge maybe. Plant that front foot. Shoulders are relaxed. Gaze is off in the distance, up and out. And bring it back down. Back into traditional runner. And then we'll bring it back up. Foot up next to the other foot. Right leg up. Come back to standing. Take a breath, and then we'll head in the other direction. So step your left foot back. First knee to the floor. You can put the bottom of your foot up. Just sink into this stretch. The psoas muscles in the front of your hips opening wide, stretches out your quads. And then up into a traditional runner, so curl your toes under, straighten that back leg. Ready to bolt into the distance. And then we'll come down into a standing up lunge here. So you've got your standing on your knee, straight up and down here, nice tall torso. And then arms up for the devotional runner. Keep breathing. Chest wide, shoulders relaxed. And bring it back down into the traditional runner. You see, and I think we've talked about this before, maybe I'm kind of on my knuckles rather than the palms of my hands. I have some arthritis in my hands, so sometimes this is more comfortable. That's a modification you're welcome to make any time for any pose. And bring your left foot up. Hang down into forward fold for just a minute. And then bend your knees and roll slowly back up into mountain. Good work. Take a moment. Feel that energy coursing. We've got a lot of warm-up going on now, a lot of stretching out. And next we're going to head into chair pose, continuing this theme of opening, stretching, hips, all that. Okay, so if you remember right, chair pose is basically sitting down in a chair that's not there, okay, with arms out front to balance you out so you don't fall backwards. Okay, so I'll turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing here. We're starting in mountain pose. Feet hip distance apart, parallel, forward. Nice, tall, relaxed shoulders, long neck, and then we will just sit down. Ready? Arms forward and hips back. Anywhere you land is fine. We're probably all landing different places, but we're all sitting in fake chairs, so comfortably. Challenging for the knees, the quadriceps, feet, legs, everything. And stand up. Whew. Take a breath. Good work. We'll try that again. On your mark, get set, sit down. Focus your eyes wherever you feel most comfortable with. I don't want you to scrunch your neck too much to look up. Looking forward is fine, looking down is fine. and come on up. Time to shake your legs out again. All right, let's actually do a forward fold just to counteract that pose a little bit. So arms up and swan dive forward. And this tang. Straighten those hips back out a little bit. And roll up. Okay. Next up, I'd like to introduce you to another new balance pose. I believe it may be the last one that we're going to learn. And I have taught you before Warrior 1 and Warrior 2. I told you there is a Warrior 3, and that's today's challenge, okay? We have Warrior 1, Warrior 2, they're a little bit different. This is, as I said, a balance pose. We're going to approach it differently. It's not so easy to morph into from 1 and 2. It can be done, but we're going to just take it separately, individually, okay? So basically what we're going to do is line up in mountain pose. I'm turning to the side so you can see what I'm doing. You can do it in any direction, but basically you're going to spread out front to back a little bit, so be prepared for that, all right? So take a breath. As with all balance poses, you want to make sure that you're feeling calm and centered and straight up and down, lifted and rooted. And that you've located your core so that you've got something there to hold you together, hold you in position. As with all balance poses, we're going to be wanting to move on to one leg. Let's move on to left leg first. So get yourself in the mind to be ready to balance on left leg only. What we're going to do for Warrior 3 is we're just going to step the right leg back first. So again, you're feeling nice and tall. And then the plan is this. If you'd rather watch them than do, that's fine, because it's a little hard to watch and do. But we're going to inhale, arms up, and then we're going to lift that back leg off. And we're going to exhale and rotate down till most of your body is horizontal and parallel to the floor. So here we go. Come up when you're ready. And back to mountain pose. Okay, does that make sense? All right. Take a breath to come down. Some of these poses can be remarkably strenuous when you're actually just standing there. Anybody else heart pounding? Yeah. Heart pounding? Yes, okay. All right, we'll try it the other direction this time. I believe I was on my left foot, so I'll go on to my right foot. Give yourself a second to get situated, centered, calmed. Make your plan. And whenever you're ready, it's going to be arms up and foot back. And then use your hips as a fulcrum to head down. And come up when you're ready. Okay. Take a breath. Good work. Relax in mountain for a moment. Feel the energy coursing through. Bring yourself back to center. Feet are rooted. Okay, let's hit the floor now. We're going to lie prone on the floor, so belly down. And we're going to revisit Cobra. But I also want to show you the difference between cobra and upward dog. I don't know if you've heard, we know down dog, downward dog, upward dog. Sometimes you hear those happening. And so cobra and upward dog are a little bit different, but they have a lot in common. So let's start with cobra position, okay? So for cobra, we've got our hands under our shoulders. We've got our feet, bottoms of our feet up in the air. Legs are no more than hip width apart. They can be closer together if you're more comfortable. All right, and we'll start with forehead on the floor. And then with cobra, we're going to just roll up one vertebrae at a time. We're going to pretty much keep waist down on the floor, okay? So let's begin that. Roll up, picture the vertebrae, 24 of them on the back of your spine, on your spine. Roll them up one at a time. And remember, you should be able to get about this far, maybe a little further, no hands at all. That's what we're aiming for. So go as high as you can with no hands. And then when you're ready to push forward, push up a bit more with your hands. But again, lower body stays on the floor, gaze stays forward, elbows are in and back, and then exhale back down to the floor. All the way, forehead to the floor so that you are nice long spine, okay? So that's cobra. All right, so upward dog is sort of basically an extension of cobra. All right, so that's all the further we go with cobra. But if you're going upward dog, you're going all the way till you have your arms straight and the rest of your lower body is off the floor as well. So let's go with cobra and then we'll see if we can move right on into upward dog, okay? So forehead down, hands under your shoulders, roll up without pushing. Begin to push a little bit further, and then push all the way up till you straighten your arms, and you're off the floor pretty much down to your knees. This would be upward dog, okay? Roll it back down, starting at the bottom. Try to go down one vertebrae at a time, even though they're on your back and not your stomach. All the way down. Forehead on the floor. All right, push back into child's pose there. Knees apart if you feel like it, wherever you're most comfortable. Feel that lower back just release from what you were doing. Forehead down to the floor. You can put your arms down at your sides, palms up, or you can put your head on your side, whatever you're most comfortable with. But just rest in child for a moment. And then let's go through that again, okay? So straight back out. Lying down, we're going to start with cobra, and then we're going to move on up into up dog. So forehead on the floor, hands under your shoulders. Take it slow. Curl up your head, so it's sort of nose up, chin up. Upper chest coming off, still no hands. And then push down to come a little further. And then continue on up, straightening your arms till you're way off the floor. Upward dog. And then inch by inch, roll yourself back down. 1 inch at a time, back to the floor. All the way down. Back into child's pose. Back of your neck nice and long. Sink in. Push off from the front with your hands, stretching out your shoulders. And then bring your arms back by your sides and just rest. We've talked a lot about how when you bend one way, you always want to counterbalance by bending the other way. So we were going Way back this way with cobra and upward dog, and now we're curling in this way with child pose. Okay? So let's go with one more backward one. Not sure if we've done this one yet, but this is called the bow. All right? So we're going to go back into a prone position. And then what we want to do here is grab your ankles, okay? Or the sides of your feet, whatever seems most comfortable. I like it around ankles, okay? So we can call this right here bow, all right? You don't have to do anything. You can even keep your feet on the floor. You can feel that stretch in your quads. You can feel it sort of pushes your back into an open, chest open, back stretched position. But if you feel up to it, you can come off the floor for a bit like we did with locust, okay? So lift. Keep breathing. Look out, gaze out in front of you. And then gently let go of your legs. With your hands, push yourself back into child's pose. And stretch your back the other direction. All right, let's try that once more. So we are on the floor, belly down. Grab your ankles, your feet, whatever you want. Feel that stretch in your quads. And when you're ready, lift up. Keep breathing. Shoulders open. Neck relaxed. And down to the floor. And back to child. All right, let's turn on over and begin to cool down. So lying on your back, we're going to start with the reclined pigeon pose. So feet flat on the floor, knees up, neck nice and long, shoulders down and relaxed. And take your left leg and bend it over so your ankle is on your thigh. And then lift all of that and reach around and grab your leg. So you're really opening the back of this hip. And breathe, just relax. Just breathe, just relax. Foot back to the floor and we'll swap legs. So left leg down, right ankle over, and then reach around. Grab it all and hug it up toward your chest. Make sure the back of your neck is nice and long. And just breathe. Back to the floor. Both feet to the floor, and then bring them up to your chest, your knees up to your chest. Roll a little bit, smooth the kinks out of your back, and then take your arms out to your sides and roll your knees down to the left. Shoulders flat on the floor, look the opposite direction, so you've got a nice twist. Don't overextend your neck. Just make this a really relaxing pose. Already starting to sink into the floor. Bring your knees back up to your chest. Roll just an instant again to get yourself resituated, and then drop your knees to the right. Head twist in the opposite direction. Shoulders flat to the floor. And you sinking into the floor. And back up to center, and get yourself comfortable for Shavasana. So start with lengthening the back of your neck. Lift your head if you need to get it situated comfortably on the floor. Reach your arms down so your shoulders are way down as far as they can be, and then relax your arms onto the floor. Press your lower back into the floor, tilting your pelvis up. And then try to hold that press into the floor while you straighten your legs down. And then release your pelvis and let your legs fall to the sides. Do any more adjusting you need to do to just feel like the floor has got you, completely cradling you. Consider this a well-earned rest. And begin to just let the floor completely take over. No more use of your muscles right now. So feel where your head meets the floor and let it just feel very heavy onto the floor. Relax your facial features, nice soft eyes, soft mouth, relaxed jaw. Easy, steady breath. Notice where your shoulders, your back meets the floor, and let yourself just sink in as if there's no boundary between the two. Feel your arms on the floor. Your hands, just let the floor completely take over. Your arms and hands are very heavy, very relaxed. Notice where your hips meet the floor, and let them just sink heavy with the weight of them, melting into the floor. And your legs, feel your calves on the floor, feel the heels of your feet on the floor. Let them just sink down into the floor, completely heavy. Now turn your attention all to your breath. Not to change it, but just to notice it, just to get into the rhythm of it. Start to lose yourself in the rhythm of your breath. Feel yourself like you're floating on a raft. The rhythm of your breath being the waves under the raft. Completely at peace, completely calm, completely cradled. And just float there. Not a care in the world. In your own time, start to come back to the room. Start to wiggle your fingers and your toes. Slowly, slowly bring yourself back to the moment. And whenever you feel like it, roll onto your side. Slowly bring yourself back up to seated. Eight classes in, I hope you're really starting to feel some of the benefits of yoga. I know it's like absolutely everything else. At the beginning, there's some awkwardness and uncomfortableness, but if you keep with it, pretty soon you won't be able to live without it. There are endless studies about the health benefits of yoga. I'm sure you can find huge data on it if you look, but some of the benefits, health benefits of yoga, it builds strength, as I'm sure you've been able to tell. It improves cardio function. It improves flexibility. Obviously, you're probably starting to feel that already. It can offer pain relief, stress release, can bring about calm and inner peace. I was actually reading an article in Time magazine this week. It was talking about the health benefits of yoga. And it was saying that it actually, studies have indicated that it reduces symptoms, it lessens the symptoms of, or it can lessen the symptoms of depression and headaches, diabetes, arthritis, all kinds of things. It's just really quite awesome. So I really hope you've been enjoying this series. We just have 2 classes left together, and I'm looking forward to them. Have a wonderful day.